So as everyone who hasn't been living under a rock for the past few months know, Hussein Farhat has come under a lot of heat recently, with basically the entire fitness industry talking about the seemingly never-ending drama. In this video, I don't want to focus on whether Hussein is in fact natural or not, as there are multiple other videos done on this topic by other people. If you're interested, you can check out Anabolic Sticks channel or check out the most recent video by GVS, which I will link in the description. Instead of focusing on whether Hussein is natural or not, I want to discuss some of the reasons why I think Hussein is so disliked within the broader fitness community and why I think he has brought this upon himself. The alleged steroid use is just a small part of the issue, and in my opinion not even the biggest reason why people dislike him in the first place. The first reason is that Hussein is clearly lying about the actual amount of weight or muscle that he put on, and the time period for this. Sometimes Hussein claims that he gained 60 pounds of muscle, and other times it's only 40 pounds of muscle. Sometimes the time period for the transformation is only 18 months. Other times it's 2.5 or even a 3-year transformation. I think people would be a lot more willing to give Hussein the benefit of the doubt as to his natty status if he clearly staked out exactly how much weight he put on and the exact time period for this weight gain, instead of just flip-flopping about the issue whenever he's called out on it and whenever it suits him. If Hussein needs to prove that he is a natty, then all of a sudden it's a 3-year transformation and it was only 40 pounds of muscle. However, when posting on Instagram, it's instead an 18-month transformation with 60 pounds of muscle gained. By doing shit like this, Hussein is just giving people a reason not to trust him, because if he's willing to lie about this issue, then what is to say that he wouldn't be willing to lie about other things? If you want people to believe that you're natural, then just put the exact amount of weight gained and the time period for the transformation, and then stick with it instead of you constantly changing it around whenever it suits your narrative. The second reason is that Hussein portrays himself in a specific way on social media. A huge part of his content is just about how successful he is, the newest super expensive car that he just bought, and how much money he makes. A lot of his videos have titles like Day in the Life of a 22-year-old Millionaire or some other stupid shit like that, and more than half of the video isn't even about anything fitness related in the first place, but rather just about him flaunting how much wealth he has. When people see stuff like this, it's obvious that they will not like you. It's just a very unlikable way to behave that also screams insecurity. At this point, I'm not even sure that Hussein actually cares about the cars that he buys, but rather just cares more about the way it makes him look. He buys the cars so they can show them off to people. No person who watches this content can ever relate to it. It just makes Hussein appear as an incredibly self-centered, materialistic and bougie person. It should come to no one's surprise that people won't like someone who portrays themselves in this way. The third reason is how he just keeps reusing the same pictures of himself over and over again. I mean, just look at this clip of GVS here pointing this out.
For example, here's Hussein's Instagram, and here's a post from yesterday. How's that coaching business going, bro? Look at the picture. Here's July 26th, July 20th, July 16th, July 4th, June 22nd, June 2nd, May 23rd, May 1st, April 26th, April 19th, April 7th, April 2nd, March 28th, March 12th, March 4th, February 7th, January 31st, January 27th, 23rd, 17th, January 3rd, December 28th, last year, December 25th, 18th, 13th, 8th, 3rd, November 30th, November 1st, October 14th, 12th, September 29th, September 23rd, 20th, May 14th, 2024. I skipped a bunch there. He's basically been posting the same video every week for over a year straight.
If Hussein's physique is actually as impressive as he claims it to be, with captions stating things like "point of view, the best natty genetics," then why on earth would he need to constantly reuse the same year-old pictures over and over? Even if Hussein is in fact natural, then doing this is just very suspicious. It makes people not trust him and makes him come across as even more shady, as if he had something to hide. Reusing old pictures is not lying, at least not outright lying. However, it is indirect lying. If you're not clearly stating when these pictures are from, if you're not making clear that these are in fact older photos, it's a similar issue as the entire claim claim of his that he did a natural show.
Yeah, if you don't want to believe me, I totally get it, that's fine. But then explain to me the bodybuilding show that I did. It was a drug-tested bodybuilding show in Toronto that I did and I won. Explain that.
Yes, Hussein was not outright lying in that situation either, because he outright never said that he got tested at the natural bodybuilding show. However, as anyone with a working brain can tell you, the implication in using the fact that you partook in a natural drug-tested bodybuilding show as a defense of you being natural is the fact that you were tested at the show, because otherwise why on earth would you bring it up in your defense of you being natural in the first place? It's lying by omission, because you failed to mention when using that argument in your defense that you never got tested in that show. Again, the issue is not per se whether Hussein is natural or not, but rather the way that he conducts himself and the way that he has no problem with lying over and over to make himself appear in a good light. It's usually people who have something shady going on in the background that have to resort to lying by omission. No honest person would do this. Reason number 4 is the constant rage baiting for clicks and views. Posting things like, before my first cycle, and now the entire debacle with Greg's comments supposedly joking about Hussein's first cycle. An honest person would never do this, because their natural status would be something that is worth way more than just clicks and views. The only thing Hussein is doing by posting stuff like this is throwing more doubt into people's minds about whether it is actually natural or not, and then he will cry about people not believing that it is natural. This is also why Jeff Nippard felt the need to make his apology post about Hussein. Jeff knows, as he's a person who actually cares about both being honest and trustworthy, and also about his natty status, that joking around about taking steroids, even if it's just joking for clicks or views, is not a good look. It's not something an honest, trustworthy person would do. And to top it all off, Hussein then turns on Jeff Nippard and starts playing the victim, even after Jeff defended Hussein in the first place. Hussein goes as far as titling his video, "How Jeff Nippard tried to destroy my career." I don't think I've ever seen someone who manages to play the victim in literally every single situation he finds himself in as much as Hussein does. It all comes back to views and money for Hussein, to create as much drama as possible, even if it means dragging other people down with him, like Jeff Nippard in this case.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
The 5th reason, and this one is in my opinion the worst of them all, is that Hussein started coaching people after only as little as 2 years of lifting. Why the fuck does this guy think he is in any position to be coaching people after only 2 or 3 years of lifting? The first 6 months of that being in a garage with a broomstick and a ladder. Like, what are you teaching people exactly? How to reuse and edit photos for Instagram? How to rage bait properly? If Hussein is in fact really natural, as he claims, then he just has incredible genetics and he's in no position to coach anyone. A guy with amazing genetics could do anything and still grow. He doesn't have anything to teach new lifters, especially not after just 2 or 3 years. Please have some humility and don't act like you're some expert on lifting as if you actually have anything to teach people. And surprise, surprise, as it turns out, Hussein's coaching is in fact not very good.
Unfortunately, when it comes to that guy, I also do have experience with a client of mine that had coaching from him, and it just wasn't good. It was not good. It was not good at all. It was just exactly what I probably thought it would be. But I'll kind of keep that to myself a little bit. You guys can kind of guess. It was terrible, regardless.
And if this wasn't enough, Hussein will post captions stating things like, "How is the coaching business going?" and then posting a picture or a video of a fucking car. Like, what does the car have to do with the coaching business? Is the point Hussein trying to make here that he managed to take advantage of a bunch of gullible kids and have them pay thousands of dollars for the stupid useless ass coaching? Not even Saul Goodman could make Hussein appear as a likable guy at this point. I mean, just look at his ad for Hussein's coaching. I genuinely thought that this was someone mocking him at the first, but apparently it's real. It reads, "I want to work with men who feel like I did. They want more out of life." What he means by more out of life is apparently cars and money, because as everyone knows, that is what really makes life worthwhile and fulfilling, having a bunch of expensive cars and likes on social media. And then it says, "Trust me when I say this could change your life." Wow, that's crazy. What, you only need my mom's credit card number and the 3 numbers on the back? I want serious men who want change. Like, what the fuck am I even reading here? Is this some kind of alpha male fitness boot camp where you can pay thousands of dollars to have some guy scream at you to stop being such a weakling and start becoming a high value man? This is genuinely just so cringe inducing, I don't even know what to say here.
Where are you going? It's something I need to do.
To do what?
die.
And the last reason, lest we forget, is that Hussein is best buddies with snake soul salesman and slop producer Greg. He's also co-owner of Greg's supplement company. Now, the funniest and the saddest thing about Hussein being part of Greg's supplement company isn't just that he's willingly pushing these obvious bullshit products like testosterone, but rather the fact that he claims that he is himself on testosterone. However, as tons of people have previously pointed out, it seems that Hussein has not actually made any tangible gain since the end of his 18-month transformation. The guy with 1 in a million genetics, who is experienced enough that he can coach other people on how to train, cannot make any tangible gains in over a year with testosterone. Does this not prove that testosterone does not actually work? If Hussein is taking testosterone, and he seems to respond so incredibly well to lifting, why hasn't he put on any more muscle since starting it? Why is he reusing old pictures? The only two conclusions seems to be that either Hussein is lying about testosterone, or that he is in fact on testosterone, but in being so, that just proves that testosterone does not actually work, as not even Mr. 1 in a million wonder boy Hussein himself can make any solid muscle gains even when being on it. All in all, these are just few of the reasons why people do not like Hussein. It is not just because he is your average run-of-the-mill fake natural. That wouldn't make him as disliked as he is. There's plenty of other similar fake natties out there, and none are as disliked as Hussein is. Rather, the reason is because Hussein brings it upon himself for the reasons stated in this video. He would do anything for use and money, no matter if that is lying or backstabbing. Even if it turns out that it is in fact natural, it wouldn't matter, because at this point, being natural doesn't stop you from being a scummy piece of shit.